Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Kristen Sampieras.
We will finally be seeing some average seasonal temperatures this week. However, Environment Canada is still predicting further periods of snow for the city, with approximately 10 centimeters accumulated this upcoming week. It's -9 degrees in Toronto. Let's take a look at our 5-day weather forecast. The cold temperatures and wind chill for today will feel more like -20. Saturday calls for some flurries and temperatures may drop to a low of -11. Ending off the weekend, we'll see some flurries and low temperatures with a high of -1. Beginning the work week, we will see some heavier flurry activity and temperatures sitting at -2. Flurries may continue over to Tuesday and temperatures will drop to a low of -13. That's all for your weather update. I'm Kristen Sampieras. Back to the newsroom.
Thanks, Kristen. Looking now at international news, U.S. government officials are meeting with European experts this weekend to discuss the revolt in Egypt. Meanwhile, anti-Mubarak protesters are still in the streets, calling today the day of departure. Under Egyptian law, President Hosni Mubarak's sudden departure would grant power to the Speaker of the House, not the Vice President, if Mubarak doesn't make changes to the law. President Barack Obama has said he wants Mubarak to make an orderly but quick departure. Mubarak says he wants to leave power, but is concerned about instability.
Many journalists covering the situation in Egypt have experienced attacks and arrests. They include journalists from the Globe and Mail and the CBC, who were detained and later released by Egyptian police. Other foreign media have also reported being attacked. In these situations, many have turned to social media as their main form of communication. Humber News reporter Arda Zakarian has more.
Twitter, a social media network many journalists in Egypt rely on to communicate, even in dire conditions. These are Globe and Mail's Sonia Verma's tweets from Cairo. Hiding her BlackBerry under her purse was the only way Verma could communicate what was happening to her while she was detained by the Egyptian military for 3 hours at an unknown location. The dean of the School of Media Studies at Humber College says social media offers a free form of communication for everyone, but it will be a struggle to keep it that way.
It's a marvelous tool to maintain communication, and it certainly is a substantial change from the past where you did not have these types of communication available to people who were being repressed. We now have those, but then it raises the concern of how do you protect the access to those means of communication in a repressive society.
Had the events in Egypt taken place even 10 years ago, the Globe and Mail's Sonia Verma probably would not have had the chance to share her story with the world in real time. Arda Zakarian, Humber News.
Finally, at home, crossing the border might get a little tougher. Prime Minister Stephen Harper is at the White House this afternoon meeting with U.S. President Barack Obama. Today's negotiations between Canada and the U.S. are expected to focus on enhancing perimeter security and easing the flow of trade across the border. The plan is to include joint border inspection agencies, harmonized regulations of goods, and more sharing of intelligence. Obama is also expected to comment on the massive anti-government protests in Egypt. They will be holding a joint press conference following the meeting.
And now with your sports news, here's Uwais Motella.
The Humber men's volleyball team suffered a huge upset against the Sheridan Bruins last night. They lost 3-1. It was the third meeting between the two teams this season. Before yesterday, Humber had only conceded a single set to the Bruins. Despite the loss, Humber is still in first place in the West Division. Meanwhile, the Lady Hawks took care of business in their match against the Bruins. Humber remains undefeated at 18-0. They will play their last home game February 9th against Niagara. The winning ways continued as both Humber's women's and men's basketball teams took out the Niagara Knights here at the North Campus. The Hawks women's team went back and forth with the Knights in the first half in terms of points and aggressive play between the division rivals. But in the second half, Humber broke away thanks to the play of Aisha Watt. She had 12 points in the half. The Hawks downed the Knights 64-58. Shortly after the women's game, the men's team took the court. Much like the women's game, the men got rough early. It was a sloppy game in the first half with bodies flying. Niagara was led by CJ Smith, who dropped a game-high 34 points, including 6 threes. But the Hawks nailed a couple clutch threes themselves late and took it 71-65. Turning to pro sports, the Raptors will attempt to avoid their longest losing streak in 13 years tonight as they host the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Raptors have lost 13 straight games, but the Timberwolves have been brutal on the road this season with a record of 2-22. Tip-off is at 7 Eastern at the ACC. The Maple Leafs won their second in a row last night at home, beating the Carolina Hurricanes 3-0. Leafs rookie goaltender James Reimer earned his first career shutout, making 27 saves in the victory. The Buds will go for their third straight win tomorrow in Buffalo. Finally, Super Bowl 45 is set to kick off this Sunday at 6:30 Eastern Time from Cowboy Stadium in Dallas. The Pittsburgh Steelers are aiming for an NFL best 7th Super Bowl win. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers will be making their 5th Super Bowl appearance. They are 3-1 in Super Bowl games. Green Bay is currently a 2.5-point favorite to win it all. That's it for sports. You are now up to date. I'm Uais Motala. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Uais. After the break, we'll get the latest in entertainment from Bridget Trong.
James Cameron backs another 3D movie, and Humber Theater graduates prepare to hit the stage. All this and more in your entertainment news after the break.